welcome to CorreoTV. This is the English edition of Correo Canadiense. I am Isabel Inclán, the editor-in-chief of Correo Canadiense newspaper. We are on elections times, federal elections for Canada, and this is our pleasure to welcome Julie Dzerowicz, the Liberal candidate for the Toronto riding of Davenport. Julie, how are you?
Muy bien. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's really nice to be here with you, Isabel.
Julie Dzerowicz has been a member of the House of Commons since 2015. She was re-elected 2019. She is the daughter of Ukrainian father and Mexican mother. She has Latin blood. Okay, Julie, first of all, I know in the last parliament you introduced a bill, important bill for basic income. How is the situation of this bill before the parliament was closed?
Yeah, so I mean, the guaranteed basic income bill. So it's the first time a guaranteed basic income bill was introduced in the House of Commons. And so we reached second reading before Parliament rose for the summer. But now that the election's underway, we would have to get back into government so that I could hopefully have a chance to reintroduce the bill. It's really important that you mentioned it, Isabel, because what's happened is we have seen very clearly, even in our very wealthy country of Canada, there's a lot of income inequality. And the federal government, since I was first elected, as you mentioned, in late 2015, we've been trying to tackle income inequality, and we've had mixed results. We've reduced poverty by over 1 million people, but we still have a great amount of income inequality, and too many people are just one paycheck away from not being able to pay their rent. And so people are really struggling. So for me, the guaranteed basic income is, I believe we have a social welfare system that has served us very well in Canada, the employment insurance and all the other benefits we have, but it was created in the 1940s, you know, after World War II. It doesn't serve the needs of the 21st century. And so I'm saying to ourselves, as a leader in Canada, we need to be looking at new models that is going to better support the workers of the 21st century and the situation that we find ourselves today and tomorrow. And so that's why I introduced guaranteed basic income.
Okay, Julie Dzerowicz, what do you offer as a Liberal candidate for Davenport Community? I know many Latin Americans, immigrants, live in that Davenport, and this is the place of the Davenport Pearl Center, for instance, that I know you has been helping that community center and another community center. But what are the main points that you offer to that community in Davenport?
So I ran in 2015 for 4 key reasons. The first was climate change. I co-founded an environmental group before I entered politics. I was in the business world, but I also co-founded an environmental group. I'm a climate activist. I don't just talk about it. I actually have co-founded a group that still continues and is doing a lot of very important work today. I wanted to be part of a government that was going to be elected so that we could actually put in a serious climate plan and reduce our emissions, but also move our economy to a low carbon economy. So it was climate change. The second was I'm a feminist. I believe in national childcare. I believe that every person, whether you're a man or a woman or transgender, that you should have an equal opportunity to succeed in our country. It is too expensive for childcare in places like Toronto. So I wanted to make sure that we had a government that would take childcare seriously. And I joined a government that is now starting to implement national childcare. The third reason is Davenport. My riding is very working class, Isabel. So most of the people, they don't earn a lot of money in my riding, but they work really hard. 43% are born outside of the country. And so they're first generation Canadians, and they weren't treated well from a federal perspective. And I wanted to make sure that they were treated well. So since 2015, I've brought a historic amount of funding into Davenport. Every community center has gotten more money. We have moved from spending $300,000 on jobs for students to 1.9 million. Seniors programs are well funded. We have a historic amount of funding. So that's the third reason I had run. And the fourth reason was diversity is our strength. My mother, you had mentioned that she's Mexican. So my mother is a light brown woman from Mexico that was discriminated against when I was growing up. And it really,
you know, in your family, the reality of immigrants, right?
Absolutely, because I experienced it. I saw my mom go through it. She had a hard time getting jobs. She was told she was stupid. She was told that she was ignorant. She was told that she couldn't amount to very much and that she wouldn't be able to do very much with her life here. I'm glad my mother was strong enough to withstand that. But for me, that has informed me that the former conservative government were awful to immigrants. They made immigrants feel like that they were second-class citizens. They made them feel like they weren't equal Canadians. Yeah,
it's gonna be, this election is gonna be tough because now you are in the election. You have a Latin American candidate, Alejandra Bravo. She is from Chile, and I know she has experience trying to find something municipal representation for a couple of times. And now you have her in your riding. So my question for you is, how will you beat Latin American candidate for the NDP, Alejandra Bravo?
Yeah, I mean, what I offer is very different than she does, right? So in Canada, the way our political system is if you are an elected, so if I'm a Liberal member and I'm part of a Liberal government, I have not just a voice for the community, but I can do things. So I've mentioned that I brought a historic amount of funding to the riding. I ended off, and I apologize, for being a little emotional about that diversity is our strength, but I've done a lot around immigration as well. We've increased our immigration numbers. We are doing an immigration pilot for non-status workers who are in the construction field to find a pathway to citizenship. And we're also doing a lot around refugees and migrant workers. We've really improved the conditions for them. So as a Liberal, if I'm an elected Liberal member within an elected Liberal government, I can be not just a voice, but I can actually do things within the government. When you have a NDP and then with an elected body that's not an NDP government, you could be a loud voice. But that's it. You could be a loud voice. You could scream, but I can do things. For the Hispanic community, I think you know this, Isabel, because you've been a part of it. One of the other things I did when I was first elected is I wanted Hispanics to be like Latin Americans and Hispanics to be recognized for their contributions to Canada. So I started Hispanic Day on the Hill, and I asked Pablo Rodriguez and Rosa Galvez to join me.
Senator Rosa Galvez.
To join me. And I will tell you, we only had 80 people in the first year celebrating the enormous and amazing contributions of the Hispanic Canadians and Latin American Canadians to Canada. And then we grew that to 800 people. The last year we were able to actually celebrate it. Now we couldn't do it for this year and last year because we've had the pandemic, but I will tell you, the Hispanic Canadians and Latin Americans are absolutely recognized now at the national level, and we've put them on the map. So I can do far more than be a voice in the community. I can actually get things done, and I have a track record of getting things done. And so anybody who lives in my community will know how much I've worked for the community, and will also know how progressive I am, and that I'm determined. The reason I want to get elected, and this is part of what you had mentioned in your last thing, like I talked about the national childcare and the climate change and diversity is our strength and money for the Davenport community. But the reason I have to move forward and I'm running again is because we have to get national childcare over the finish line. We've been talking about for 50 years. Well, we have to stop talking. We're eight provinces and territories have signed on, but we got to get the rest of them. And I'm determined I want to get back in again because I want to make sure that happens. Climate change, we have an excellent plan in Canada. Prime Minister Trudeau and our Liberal government, we have a serious, aggressive plan to tackle climate change, but we have to turbocharge it. If you saw what happened in Germany and Austria and Japan and all Western Canada and the United States, as well as Northern Ontario, you have to take climate change seriously. We have to go even faster than we ever thought before. So I want to get back in to do that. I mentioned to you about guaranteed basic income. We need new models to support Canadians. We have to decide the kind of world we want to live in. So we need better supports and different supports than what we have in jobs and economy. Isabel, I can talk to you about until I'm blue in the face about how much we want to spend on seniors, how much we want to spend on youth, how much we want to spend on childcare. But if we don't have jobs and if we don't have a prosperous economy, we can't pay for it. So we have to make sure that we keep our eye on the ball. I have 20 years of business experience. You know, I wanted to do, so I know what it takes to sort of keep the eyes and our finances on the ball. And I sit on our finance committee. And I'll tell you, for me, it's really important for us to never forget that people need to earn a living. They need to earn a dignified living, and that we need to have a prosperous economy in order for us to be able to meet our climate change targets, to support our seniors, to have a healthy healthcare, to have mental health supports, to support our youth, to put in national childcare. All of those things take money, and it's very important for us to continue, you know, to make sure that we are supporting and ensuring a healthy and prosperous economy moving forward.
Okay, finally, Julie, I know you are busy, you are on campaign, but how do you feel? Do you feel confidence in this election that even though in the past two elections, 2015, 2019, you won for around 3% of the votes? So do you feel confidence that in this election you will win against the candidate of NDP and Conservative?
Yeah, I mean, look, Isabel, this riding's a close riding. So I don't doubt it. I won by about 1,500 votes in each of those elections. I think the first election was 1,200, the second was 1,500. So it's a close race. So I tell people, you know, choose the person that you want to represent you, who represents your values, who represents your voice, and who can get things done for you. I have a track record for the community. And the community has to make a decision as to whether or not they want me to represent them again. I love the community. The community knows it. I go to every single event. I support every group that has come to me. I have made sure that we have a historic amount of funding. You know, honestly, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything more other than to continue to try to be elected and to try to get our government to do even more and better if we are reelected in the next campaign. So I just encourage people, if you're undecided, please make sure to look at our different platforms. We have a great track record as a liberal team, as a liberal government. We are an amazing team. I had Chrystia Freeland, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, canvass with me yesterday. I had our Minister of International Trade and Small Business canvass with me last night. So, you know, there's, I know people care about Davenport. I know that, I know that our government wants to do even more and better as we move forward. And I think we have the best plan for the future for Canada. And I am asking everybody in the community who lives in Davenport for their support.
Okay, this is the voice of liberal candidate for Davenport, Julie Dzerowicz, and you have the decision if you live in this riding, Davenport. This is a good option that you can take. Julie, thank you so much for your time with CorreoTV, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Isabel, for the interview, and thanks for this opportunity.
Okay, okay, thank you so much, and we hope having you in another program next time. Thank you so much.